And welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe wherever you are tuning in. We thank you for doing so. And we have a special guest with us. He is the one and only Hall of Famer from ESPN, Major League Baseball analyst Tim Kurkjian with us. Tim, baseball is in mid-season form almost. We're here in April, a month in, and people are already making proclamations. This team is going this far. This team is not going this far. Still a lot of baseball to go, but I know for you this is always an enjoyable time of year as the weather's changing. We're getting warmer, and we're getting some intriguing games.
Yeah, and it's been, fellas, an amazing first month of the season. When you look at all the bizarre things that have happened from, the Yankees becoming the first team ever to hit the first three pitches of a game for a home run. I did that game on the radio, and that kind of set the tone for how the season was going to go, not just for the Yankees, but for so many other teams. It has been as unpredictable a start as far as bizarre, crazy, quirky things happening. But this is what separates baseball from the other sports. It just makes you slap your forehead on a daily basis. Like, how in the world did that happen? And that's happened 36 times for the first month of the season. And I don't have a really good look at where things are right now because it's been so unpredictable, and that's what makes it so great.
For sure. And if you got a comment or question for Tim, you can always hit our chat line. Let us know. Give us a comment or a question you have for Tim. We'll pass it on to him. If you could do me the favor, though, and educate Ed on how historically strong the NL West has been, excluding cellar dweller Colorado, to start off this 2025 campaign with the defending world champion LA Dodgers, a very dangerous San Diego Padres team that could certainly play deep into October, much improved San Francisco team that's so well managed by Bob Melvin, and an Arizona Diamondback squad that I am, of course, very fond of, and which, of course, is partly why Ed likes to ridicule and demean them while also trying to feel better about what transpired 24 years ago in the Fall Classic. This is the best division of baseball, right, Tim?
Yes, it is. All four of those teams are good enough to make the playoffs. And again, this was a while ago, but it was the first division since divisional play began in 1969 to get to 25 victories as a division with no more than 7 losses. So at one point this year, the NL West was 25-7. No division had ever done that early in any baseball season. And Matt, you're right. The Dodgers are great. The Diamondbacks are really good. The Padres bullpen especially is tremendous. And the Giants, I got a good look at them this spring, and I didn't leave Arizona thinking, they're going to make the playoffs. But I said they're way better than we thought they were going to be. They are a dangerous team. So even with the Rockies in it, I think the best division is the NL West.
There you heard it, Ed, from Tim's mouth to God's ears.
First of all, good morning, Tim. Thanks for coming on. I'm gonna give my partner that because he has loathed me calling the D-backs the best AAA team in the history of baseball. And I can't say that anymore because they own the Yankees in that early season series, and they've got that 1 through 9 lineup is pretty strong, and they've got some decent pitching. I tried to give him about 4 of my Yankee guys for one of his pitchers. He wouldn't do it. I mean, I gave him DJ, and I think Marcus Stroman. And I'm even willing to throw in Devin Williams right now because, Tim, the first thing I got to ask you, and I know I have to move my Yankees, what's going on with Devin Williams with the Yankees? I thought it was a great pickup, one of the best in baseball, but what is it?
It's baseball, Ed. It was a great pickup. They're probably going to look around and maybe just give him a little break as the closer and let Luke Weaver close some games. Last year, Devin Williams gave up 3 runs in 22 appearances. Granted, a shortened season for him with injuries. 3 runs in 22 appearances. He's given up 3 runs now in back-to-back appearances for the Yankees. And they booed him last night at home, and that's not a good sign. Look, he's a great kid. He's got an elite changeup. He's had a great career, and he's going to be great for the Yankees. But the beauty, as we know, of baseball is that good players aren't always great in baseball, and he's off to a really difficult start. And he's never pitched in New York before. He's been in pennant race with the Brewers, obviously, but New York is different. Yankee Stadium is different. And I don't think it has really affected him. I just don't think he's thrown very well. But if he's not hurt, and I'm told he's not hurt, then he should be okay. He will turn this around. But it's been a tough start for him and a few other players.
Well, and on the flip side of that, of course, my main guy, Aaron Judge, struggled in April last year. Lord, you talk about what's going on. And even he heard a couple boos. And I think before I get into Aaron, though, Tim, that is a key thing. In New York, some guys cannot play in New York. And I'm praying, because I like Devin Williams, I'm praying that it doesn't become mental, that he's worried about, okay, am I going to pitch well or not? How's the crowd going to get me? Because if you get in that situation where you play mind games with yourself, you're pretty much defeated. It's like you said, it's a 162 game series. Let's just let Weaver close a little bit here and there, and hopefully that doesn't mess up Devin mentally too. But getting back to Aaron Judge, wow, look at this year's start on what he's doing for the Yankees. I told Matt at the beginning, I don't think the Yankees are great. I don't think they're going to waltz through the division all the way to the World Series. They have holes. They have some issues. They're good, but not over. But Aaron Judge, so far, I'm probably going to jinx him now. I mean, hitting the 400, just doing so many things, and also his leadership with the new guys on the club. I know listen to Clay Bellinger and Goldsmith, two veterans, say they see why he's Aaron Judge now that they're up close with him.
Yeah, he had one of the greatest seasons any right-handed hitter has ever had last year after that terrible start. And we all had to answer that question 100 times. What's wrong with Aaron Judge? The answer was nothing, because he went on to have a spectacular season and has been even better this year. You look at the times reached base in this number of games, the only Yankees that have ever reached base as many times as Aaron Judge has in these games is Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth, once each. That's how productive he has been. And he's going to need a lot of help, because this is not a great team. You're right, Ed. It's a good team in a very winnable American League East, in a very winnable American League. But to ask him to hit .415 all season and carry the team, not single-handedly, because they have a lot of guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but it's just stunning how great a player he has become. He used to be a big home run hitter. That's what he was. He was a slugger. Now he is an all-around, really great player at everything: defense, running the bases, hitting for average, and hitting for power. It's really impressive. The player he has turned himself into is just stunning to watch.
Before we get to a couple of questions for ESPN MLB analyst Tim Kurkjian, also the host of Great Game or What with his son. You can find that podcast at greatgameorwhat.com. Our guest here on CoVA Sports TV. Tim, I know, being the astute historian of the game you marvel at what Aaron Judge can do, Shohei Ohtani can do, and how about Paul Skeens last night? Put into perspective just how special this young guy is for a Pittsburgh Pirates team that has not thrusted themselves into the mix for the NL Central just yet. But if Skeens does this at a high level, he's going to be in the record books for a long time to come, isn't he?
Yeah, he's already great. I think he's the best pitcher in baseball, and he's the pitcher. If I'm going to watch one game and he's pitching, it's always him. I mean, he's 6'6", he weighs 230, throws 100 with secondary stuff. He added a cutter in the offseason, which is just absurd, like he needed another weapon. He's so wildly competitive. He's so smart about what he does. He's so incredibly focused on what the job is. So it's virtually, I don't think I've ever said the best pitcher in baseball about a guy who hasn't even made 30 starts, right around there. That's how good this kid is. And I've seen that focus up close a couple of times, and it's really impressive. He just goes into a trance. And when he walks out on the mound, all that matters is, I'm going to throw strikes, I'm going to get you out, and we're going to win this game. And as long as he's got that attitude with the physical skills he's got, he's going to be a great pitcher for a long, long time. Now, Pirates just have to build something around him. They got to get some They got to get some offense. They got to get some extra bullpen. They got to get another starter. It's just not right that a pitcher this good might be on a team that, at least for now, doesn't look like a playoff team.
Let's grab a couple of American League-related questions here for Tim Kurkjian, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Our man Bob in Williamsburg on the chat line. He's a diehard Orioles fan, wants to know, how do the Orioles fix this? Tim, the starting pitching has been a mess. Injuries, and Corbin Burns, they let him go to my D-backs. What do you think about the O's, and are they out of this thing?
Yeah, they're in trouble right now. Now, that's going to change. They're far too good to struggle like this. Starting pitching, obviously, is the biggest issue. Like you said, no Corbin Burns. Grayson Rodriguez has the best stuff of the current pitchers. He hadn't pitched yet, and there's no telling when he's going to pitch. Injuries have just absolutely decimated this rotation, and not just this year, the last couple of years. So their only way to win, and I think they'll get hot, and that will be soon, is they have to score a ton of runs. They have not won a game this year. No, they've only won one game this year where they've scored fewer than 4 runs. That's not right. They have to score runs, and they have not been a good offensive team. Even Gunnar Henderson, who started out injured, started the season late, he's going to get hot, but even he hasn't really gotten going yet. And, they're going to start to hit. I'm sure that Adley Rutschman, their star catcher, has to get going. He had a terrible second half of the year last year, but he's going to figure it out too. But if they're counting on just pitching their way back to the playoffs, I don't see that happening now. But they can hit their way back to the playoffs, but it's got to start, and it's going to start soon.
And before Ed jumps back in here with some questions for you, Roger in Chesapeake wants to know, can Cleveland win the AL Central again? That division's interesting because Detroit's mighty good with another one of the top pitchers in the sport, Tarek Skubal. Tim, what do you make of the Guardians so far?
Yeah, I love the Guardians, and I did not see them playing as well as they did last year. Not like it matters, but we have to do our predictions, and I picked the Tigers to win the division and the Guardians to finish second. Could that switch around? Of course. That bullpen that the Guardians have, that's as good a bullpen as there is in baseball. They've started to score a few more runs lately, and their starting pitching is above average. It's got to get even better from here because I'm just not sure this team's going to score a ton of runs this year. But I love the way the Guardians play, and I love the way they pitch out of the bullpen. So, yes, they have a chance to win this division for the second year in a row.
Yeah, I just wonder about Emmanuel Clase, Tim. He was so unbelievable last year. He's been a little bit skittish here as of late. Could he get removed out of the closer role, or is it too early to panic with him?
I would never panic with him. His stuff is ungodly good. He throws 100 miles an hour with movement. Everyone struggles. We talked about Devin Williams earlier. Really hard game to play. Give him some time. He'll figure it out. All the good ones do. But with the bullpen that they have at least 3 guys who they could drop in the 9th inning and get a 1-2-3 with their eyes closed. That's how good that bullpen is. But I would never give up on Emmanuel Clase, not with what he's done, especially the last few years.
So there you heard it, Ed. Don't panic if you're a Yankee fan with Williams. Don't panic, Cleveland fans, with Clase. It's a marathon, not a sprint here in Major League Baseball.
It's so true. And Tim, we should probably ask you this right off the bat. We got almost a month into the season. Any surprise for you on the good side, and maybe a surprise, whether it be team or player, not doing what maybe you thought?
Well, I think we've already talked about them, but the Giants are just better than I thought they'd be. Their starting rotation is good. I knew they'd be much improved, but I wasn't sure they were going to be this good. And I think that has a chance to continue. And when it comes on the other side, we just talked about them. I think the Orioles, I'm not sure whether there's a way around this. I think they've been the biggest disappointment so far. But again, never forget, fellas, the Nationals in 2019 started out 19-31, and they won the World Series. A few years ago, the Braves were terrible until like August, and then turned it on and won the World Series. Look at the Tigers last year. They weren't even a contender until the end of August, and they made the playoffs. and ended up winning a playoff series against the Astros. So this is the one game where you just can't say, all right, we're 30 games in, or we're at Memorial Day milepost. We have to know everything. No, it changes all the time. And like the Mets, for instance, I'm a little bit surprised they've been this good, given that Juan Soto hasn't hit yet. And two of their starting pitchers are on the injured list, including Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas, who, Manaea was really good for them last year. So it's a very patient sport. You have to wait for teams to find their footing, and some teams haven't, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, Mets with that huge payroll expected to be in the mix for the NL pennant, Ed.
Right. The other thing, too, Tim, Phillies, Braves, I thought coming in two strong, very powerful teams. Dealt with some injuries in that last year. Braves got off to a horrible start. Now there was this latest little situation. Jason County hits a bomb, decides to jog it out, and gets thrown out on the bases. Ronald Acuna Jr., who's still on the injured list, makes a comment. Well, if that was me, that happened to me. I got pulled from the game. Why wasn't he? And then manager Brian Snitker says, I didn't see it. I'd have to see it. Anything out of this, or it's nothing?
It's always something if Ronald Acuna Jr. is involved. And it's always something when a really good team like the Braves start out 0-7 as they did this year. No team has ever made the playoffs starting out 0-7. But let's not 6 of their last 7 games. At some point, Acuna Jr. is going to come back. Spencer Strider, who just came back and got hurt, he's going to come back. I've learned my lesson many times over the years. Do not underestimate the Atlanta Braves. They're started to hit now, and once they start to hit, they usually don't stop. Now, I think right now they are clearly the third best team in that division, behind the Mets and the Phillies for sure. But they're going to be really good before this season's over, and I wouldn't be shocked if they become the first team ever to go 0-7 and make the playoffs. So, but they got some work to do, and a lot of teams have these little controversial situations. Jared Kelenic should have run that ball out, and he didn't. And maybe it's not right for Acuna Jr. to speak up there while he's on the injured list, but who knows? Stranger things have brought a team together. They played pretty well since.
Fair point. Fair point.
The other two things that coming on this year in baseball, Oakland A's no longer in Oakland, playing over there in Sacramento. Not doing bad. I kind of think maybe that's a surprise on the good side. And then we have Tampa Bay playing in the Yankees. They're playing in Tampa Bay, but they're playing the Yankees facility, and they're struggling. Comment maybe on those two situations.
Yeah, let's not forget the A's played 500 baseball the last 120 games last year. They can hit, and they're scoring more runs now. Jacob Wilson, their young shortstop, is a terrific young player. Tyler Soderstrom is off to a great start. Power, first baseman. They just called up Nick Kurtz. He does a lot of really good things. I like where the A's are, but it's just a difficult spot playing in a minor league ballpark for the next 3 years. But I would not underestimate them. To me, they're not a playoff team, but they are a dangerous team. And when they get used to playing in Sacramento, which is a tricky place to play when you're used to playing in a big league facility, in the end, that's going to become a home field advantage for them. And they're going to be a really dangerous team at home eventually. And I think they're better than people think. As for the Rays, and again, in a really tough spot, losing their ballpark to a hurricane. But their pitching is so good. I mean, that Shane Baz guy last night was dominant again. They have, as Brandon Hyde, the Orioles manager, told me this spring, the entire team throws 98 miles an hour. It's incredible. But they've got some work to do. I don't know if they're going to score enough runs to be a division winner. But I still think in a very winnable American League East and a very winnable American League, you cannot count the Rays out because of the strength of their starting pitching.
One more question from the chat line, Tim. Logan wants to know about his Texas Rangers, which I guess goes to the AL West in general, too. You brought up the A's there with Ed. That's the only division, I think, where all 5 teams are separated by 2.5. That could be maybe the most unpredictable to the wire.
Yeah, it's a really interesting division. I think the Angels are better than people think. We just said the A's are better than people think. Seattle's starting pitching, which is all banged up. Again, Logan Gilbert went out last night. Not a good sign. Their starting pitching is tremendous. The Astros are the Astros. Never, ever underestimate them. But I think the Rangers are the best team in the division. And I think when they won the World Series a couple of years ago, they had the best lineup in the American League. And it really hasn't manifested itself so far this year. And now Corey Seager is on the injured list. But once they get everyone healthy, that is a devastating offensive team. And Jacob deGrom has made his regular turn so far, which is a really good sign for them. So I'm not suggesting the Rangers are the World Series team from 2 years ago, but I think they have maybe the biggest upside in the American League. But they got to get some people healthy, and they especially got to keep deGrom healthy for the rest of the season.
Just 2 seasons removed from beating my D-backs in the Fall Classic, Ed, Texas Rangers.
Yeah, like we said, it's early, but people kind of jockeying for positioning and see what we have. Tim, I know in the past we talked to you about rules, changes, and whatever. Is there anything along those lines that you would want to see changed? And is there anything maybe you'd like to see pushed aside?
Well, we got to get rid of the ghost runner at second base in a tie game in the 10th. I'm sorry. Games are a half an hour shorter now. We can play until somebody actually wins. This is the big leagues. We don't need to do this. And I am in the vast minority on that. I am really amazed how many people inside the game think it's a great idea. And I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. I also got a good look at the ABS system this spring. And, I think it's a very interesting situation where hitters are allowed to challenge a ball strike call. And if you're wrong, you lose your challenge and all that stuff. That is coming to the big leagues. It may not be there next year, but it's on its way because it seems to have worked in the minor leagues. I saw it in action in spring training, and it didn't seriously, delay the game. I'm an old man, but I still believe that human elements really involved here, and we should get more and more humans involved, and I think we should keep the umpires even more involved, but they need some help. The game moves pretty quickly, and if we can help the umpires, I'm all for it, but too much technology, I think we're going in the wrong direction.
With you totally. Ed and I agree with you on that ghost runner. It's almost like if you told NFL teams we go to overtime and it's going to be 11-on-7, we'll take 4 guys off of defense. It's such a disadvantage to me, to the team, the relievers pitching. He is the 2022 BBWAA Career Excellence Award recipient and MLB analyst for ESPN, Tim Kurkjian. Thank you so much for the time, as always. But before I let you run, tell the folks what they can see on your podcast with you and your son, GreatGamerWhat.com. I believe you've had some guests that are also outside of baseball, like Jim Boeheim and Mel Kiper Jr., but they've talked baseball with you guys too.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mel was on. That was the hook for this week because it's draft week. Mel loves baseball. Mel's a teammate of mine at ESPN. Wonderful guy. And our son, Jeff, he went to Syracuse, so he knows Coach Boeheim, and so do I. And I had a great chat with him about 15 years ago about baseball, so we got him on. He was absolutely hilarious, delightful, insightful. Our podcast is we laugh and we learn. There's no heavy lifting on our show. It's playful, it's joyful, it's respectful. We get great guests every single week. We have Steve Sparks, former Major League pitcher, on this Wednesday coming up. He was phenomenally good. So it's really a thrill of a lifetime for old Pop-Up here to be able to do a podcast with his son. So good.
That's awesome. See, Ed, we laugh like Tim does, and we learn we get guests of his quality on our show. So we're striving to be like you, Timmy.
Well, good luck, fellas. It's nice to talk to you. And Ed, I hope the Yankees win. And Matt, I hope the Diamondbacks win just for you guys.
Thank you. But root for my guys if we make the World Series, okay?
Tim, you're going to have to referee. If those two got in the World Series, could you imagine what him and I we'd have to have you be peacemaker.
Right. Well, good luck with everything, and I'll talk to you guys soon, okay?
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
Appreciate the time. That's the one only Tim Kurkjian with us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV.